Oh, baby. Well, hello there, guys. Your boy Fluffy Peanuts once again. We're coming at you this time with the sorcerer build. We're going to do castle crit and castle annulment with spark and comet and with living bomb. Okay, and with arc and castle crit. Okay, this build, as you saw, is devastating. All right, and we're not even min-maxed at all. Okay, we actually got some cheap gear on, and also it probably goes up after this. I mean, we are like 2 or 3 weeks in to the league itself, and everything obviously is going expensive, but we managed to do what we could with what we got. All right, so with that being said, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I go live right here on YouTube and when I post a video or a build guide. Okay, with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, guys, as you can tell right here, we are the Sork. Okay, now what we're going to go over first and foremost, as usual, this build can get extremely expensive real fast, real quick, but as of right now, alright, it's somewhat a decent price once you get the mechanics going and everything going right. Okay, it can be pretty cheap, then you got to build yourself up there, obviously going up to the tier levels with min-maxing, which we are not even there, not even close to it. Okay, says everything's expensive, but for what I'm showing you right now, the link will be down in the description below of the mobilytics for this guide. Okay, so that way you guys can check it out. It is my build right now currently is actually pretty decently expensive, a couple hundred div. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at our skills and what we got going on. Okay, right now we are obviously using Pinnacle of Power. I'll show this right here. We're going to be using Pinnacle of Power. Okay, just ignore this stuff. I was testing some stuff out to do some bloodletting and stuff like that so we can get some more DPS. If I go and I do that, we got to change around some of the passive tree. Okay, which I'm not going to do that just yet. We're going to go off of what I have right now. So, alright, so what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be doing Pinnacle of Power, we're going to get heightened charges, and we're going to get prolonged duration too. Okay, so this is mainly for our weapon set 2. Okay, we're going to be bouncing back and forth here. Alright, so I'm going to mention some things, and I'm going to be showing you blah, blah, blah. Alright, we don't need Siphon Power, we don't need Skeleton Warrior, and obviously this right here. Pinnacle Power for our second weapon set, obviously we don't need anything in it. So, I mean, for our first weapon set right here, this right here, the second Pinnacle of Power, because we are using 2 of them, is mainly for the second weapon set. Alright, so with that being said, let's move down here to Spark. We're going to be using Spark. Okay, what we got in here, you want to max this up as much as you can. This is a mana hungry build. Mana hungry, okay? Alright, especially when you start rocking your comments. Okay, so with that being said, you will definitely want to focus your gear on mana regeneration. You want to focus your passive, as you're going to notice once I show you it after we go over to the gear. Okay, you're going to be focusing a lot on a little bit of mana regen and everything, power charge and so on and so forth. We'll get on into that. Okay, so what we're going to have in here, we're going to put in Spark, okay, with 25% less movement speed to penalty while using support skills. So we're going to put mobility in there. You can play around with that. You don't have to put mobility in there. You can put other things if you want. Okay, but mobility, so that way we get a 25% less penalty when we're moving and casting at the same time. That's why we got that in there. Obviously, we're going to go with our traditional projectile acceleration 3. So that way we can get more projectile speed, obviously, because we're going to want our sparks to be scooting across the map, right? And try to hit everything. Then we're going to do Pierce 3 as well, which also pierce all targets. Don't worry about the damage on the 20%. That's okay. I know a lot of people like to put in just Pierce 2 so we don't get that damage penalty. It's okay. It's fine. We're piercing all targets. Pinpoint critical, obviously, because it's since we're a sorcerer, we're not a blood mage. It's gonna be a little bit harder. This is where it starts to get up to mid-maxing, mid-tiering when we start buying gear that's got like max critical hit chance on it, as well as for our passive tree and meaning jewels, critical hit chance and critical hit chance for spells. So until you can get that 100% on crit chance, we're just going to put pinpoint critical in our spark so we can trigger our cast on crit. Okay, then we're going to use unleash as well, which is also going to give us a big old damage roll. Okay, so now we're going to move on to explosion transmutation. This is up to you if you want to. I'll just play around with the new rune stuff. Okay, this is actually turns out pretty decent, pretty cool. Basically what explosion transmutation does, all of our remnants can explode, all right, as like a bomb, depending on how much remnants you have. It takes up, I want to say, how much does this take? 39 ward. So, and it uses 5 at a time with the 0.39 second cooldown timer. So when we cast a skill, we create a remnant. Okay, the remnants explode. All right, just a little bit of DPS, and if you want to have fun with it, play around with it. I know a lot of people are using like that pillar one as well. Okay, but yeah, I just put that in there since we're already creating remnants. Why not, right? Just a little bit more DPS. So with that being said, we're gonna go right here to. Let me take this out. Tame Beast. We don't want that in there. Okay, this is what we're gonna put in there for ideally. All right, Tame Beast, because I'm looking for a Pacific Beast modifiers for my Spirit Walker. So, all right, so in this, if you want to use this, you're going to put in Spell Cascade, obviously. Then we're going to go cooldown recovery 2. That way we can get those that cooldown for when it explodes a lot quicker, which is obviously when you put this in to +2, we get a what I think it's a 0.39% cooldown time. Yeah, but it gives us a 3.9 second cooldown time. And it's crazy too because it uses everything. It's wild. So we're also going to put pinpoint critical in there. Why the hell not? So that way we can crit with it as well. All right, then we're going to do magnified area, obviously to increase the explosion radius. Then we're also going to do efficiency 2, so that way it costs less for our mana. Try to get that down some, you know what I'm saying? So now what we're going to do now, we're going to move down to Frost Bomb. This is how we're going to get our infusions, okay? Our cold infusions, and to trigger our max power charges that we're going to have as well, okay, with the combination of Firestorm. All right, this is how we're going to get our max remnants. My max remnants as of right now is 8 with this build. Okay, so what we're going to put in there, we're going to put in short fuse 2. That way it reduces the cooldown time, detonation time as well for when the bombs will launch, as I'll show you right here, demonstrate. But oh, see how fast it blows. Now, did you see all those explosions? See that explosions? That's the explosion transmutation. All right, it's pretty sweet. So right there, we got power charges. Actually, we got frost charges. Now we're gonna set our, and we're gonna use our combination right here. Now we got 8 power charges. Now we're gonna use our, what is this called again? Pinnacle of Power. Sorry, I just got off a 13-hour shift. So that being said, I'm going to hit that right there. I'm going to hit my spark, so that way it switches over to my weapon set 1. All right, so do this again. Rotation, boom boom, Firestorm. Now we got all of our charges circling around. I'm going to hit spark, so that way it puts them back in my weapon set 1. Then I'm going to hit Pinnacle of Power.
I need more time.
God damn it, I keep fucking it up. Boom, boom. Boom. Do that. Pinnacle of Power, there we go. Finally, I got the rotation. Now we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds of duration time for this Pinnacle of Power. Alright, look at that. Oh, beautiful! Okay. So with that being said, alright, Frost Bomb. Alright, so we're going to want a short fuse, shorten down the timer, spell echo, so that way it sits there and repeats. It's kind of like cascade, but it's spread out, it just stays at one spot. And we're going to do cooldown recovery as well on top of that. So that way we could get it to where we can use it again. I mean, it's not the best, but that way we can lower the timer to be able to use it, obviously. Then we're going to use Overabundance. Support skills have 50% less skill effect duration. Then we're going to use Elemental Weakness for single target stuff. If you want to use it, that's up to you. It does help out a lot when you're doing like big pinnacle bossing. I did destroy the crap out of the Arbiter earlier because I'm still working on my my passive tree, my Atlas. Okay, so you can use that for extra damage. What we're putting in here, we're putting obviously a heightened curse to increase the magnitude, and then we're also doing magnify area 2 as well, excuse me. Then we're going to use our cast on annulment, elemental annulment. Okay, so this right here, obviously want to get this 20% quality and go all the way up to like 21. All right, if you can, if you want, if you can. Right now I'm at level 88. Right now what we're putting in here is common. So a lot of people like to put their cast on critical and put our comment in that. Okay, so all right, a buddy of mine helped me out. Shout out to my boy. All right, the boys. If you've been watching my stream, you know who the boys are. Okay, all right, it's gonna be a load of BS. Shout out to my buddy there. He played with this build a little bit last season. Okay, and he fell in love with it. I just happened to stumble across it and just wanted to try it out. So we tweaked it a little bit. He helped me out. So, elemental annulment. I did have Comet in Cast on Crit. Okay. All right. Don't do that unless you have 100% critical hit chance. Okay. All right. So, basically, since we had Cast on annulment and we're already getting annulment charges, right? We're getting remnants, you know, fire, cold, lightning, and all that. So this is going to trigger constantly. All right, so the comment's going to trigger constantly. All right, then we got pinpoint critical as well in here, so that way we get that 100% crit chance. Energy retention, spell cascade, and boundless energy too, so that way we can build up the energy to go and hit. Okay, so that way it can automatically just keep spamming. Right now, I know what a lot of people are going to say, but I'm telling you this. I'm telling you. All right, if you don't believe me. All right, use this setup right here for the skills. Turn around and put a comment in freaking cast on critical, all right? Then you're going to swap out your arc and cast on critical, okay? Now, when it comes to these skills, you're going to want to do low tier skills, okay? Because it is going to be mana hungry. I am not going to lie to you guys. It's going to be extremely mana hungry. All right, so if you want to put it low in there, I'll say whatever you can, whenever you start getting the comment, or whenever you start getting living bomb, put it in the lowest amount that you can do. Okay. All right, so that way you ain't chewing up your mana until you get better mana retention. All right. So, like I said, all right, I'm keep bouncing back and forth. I'm sorry. So if you put comment inside cast on critical, it ain't gonna proc it hardly enough. All right, and do not put pinpoint critical and cast on crit, because cast on crit is activated by critical. Okay. Critical hit chance. So pinpoint critical, having that in there, it's not going to do shit. Okay, I found out the hard. My buddy pointed that out. He made a good point, because cast on critical relies on 100% critical hit chance to trigger. Okay, so it ain't going to trigger if you put pinpoint critical in there. Okay, so if we put pinpoint critical and elemental annulment, it's going to trigger, right? Because we got also pinpoint critical on our spark until we hit that, you know, 100% crit. Okay, so my challenge to you, if you don't believe me on this, put comment into cast on critical. See how many times that comment procs. It ain't gonna proc that often. Then you're gonna switch it and put it in cast on annulment, and you're gonna notice that in cast on annulment, that comment is gonna proc constantly. Okay, I know you're gonna do less DPS over here than you would over here in cast on critical. So when you hit 100% crit chance, okay, without using pinpoint critical, obviously, do not put that in there. Once you hit 100% crit chance, then you're going to want to swap the comment with the arc. So you're going to put the arc in the castle annulment, then you're going to put the comment over here in the castle critical. Okay, I'm telling you, do it that way. All right. My buddy told me that made a big difference. All right, then we're going to use mana remnants. Remnants is a harmonic remnants 2 and clarity 2. clarity 1, so that way we can increase our we're going to be increase clarity 1s for our mana regen, and obviously we're going to want more remnants from freaking mana remnants, so this is get us more remnants, which also includes explosion transmutation is going to proc more as well. Okay, on top of all that, all right, this siphon elements, same thing. All right, we're going to put this unique in there, controls rejuvenation. Okay, then we got a couple unique setting inside of this Firestorm as well, which we're going to do a spell Cascade, Unleash, and Zorok's Refrain, so that way it echoes 3 times. Then we're also going to use this support, Morgon's Tempest. And the reason why we do this is so that way we can cast this once, Firestorm once, and it's going to proc, okay, and give us all of our power charges at once. 9 times out of 10. Okay, then we're going to go over here. All right, we're going to check out our gear now. Our gear right here. Okay, we're going to go with Adeno's Ego. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right, so with this one right here, we're going to do, okay, we're going to have it on our, you're going to have two different kinds, okay? So in this one, on your weapon set 1, where it says power charges, it does not matter if you have a minus power charger on here. Just get a +3 to spell skills with a high cast speed, with a dual socket, okay? All right, they're pretty cheap. We'll look at them right now. Okay, they're decently cheap. Antonios, siphoning 1, search for that. We're gonna go right here, equipment filters, put 2. All right, you're gonna do that. All right, right there, a +3 with two sockets, 25 Exalt. All right, and we don't care if there is any power charge notice right here, okay, because that's not going to do us any good. When we go to our weapon set 2, all right, this is when we care about power charges. All right, so you're going to put inside the socket. Okay, it doesn't matter what the increased spell damage. I had to put that in there because, you know, GGG decided that we can't have 2 to the same sockets. I mean, 2 to the same type of runes in a socket for 2 different weapons on your person. I don't know. So we're going to put this in here, 50% chance of getting an additional power charge. All right. Then, on this one in your weapon set 2, you're going to want a +1 to maximum power charges. Okay? And the reason why I'm going to say that, because we're going to jump back over here. All right, to your skills, you want to make sure that your Firestorm, okay, is on weapon set 2. All right? Because this is what matters the most right here. If you put it on weapon set 2, because your weapon set 2 is how you're going to gain all your power charges at once. Then your weapon set 1 is going to be your damage. All right? That makes sense. So if I sit there, and it doesn't matter about Frostbomb. Frostbomb, you're going to want it to be on weapon set 1 and 2. So okay, or you can just make it on 1. It's up to you. All right. So you wait a couple seconds, do your rotation. Then you're going to hit that. Firestorm, boom, we got all of them. Then I'm going to go back to hitting Spark. You want to put Spark on 1 because that's going to be your main damage, right? Your damage button. Then you're going to hit your Pinnacle of Power, boom, and Consume. All right, everything is on weapon set 1 besides Firestorm. Okay, you're going to put that on weapon set 2. Then you're going to make sure that your Spark is on weapon set 1 only. So that way you can get that rotation going through. All right, so we're going to go back over here. All right, we're going to do a lot of just make them your DPS rings, okay? DPS rings, cast speed, rarity, intelligence, whatever you need. Definitely want mana. You want a lot of mana, and you want mana regen too, as you if you want as well, because our mana is going to be our defense, because we're using Mom. We're going to be using Mom, okay? Where basically all of our energy shield becomes our mana as well, and all damage is taken from mana first before life. All right, so make sure you put in here. You're going to want maximum mana or mana regen. You want at least that. Okay, then we're going to go over here to our chest piece. It doesn't matter about spirit. We don't need spirit on it. Okay, so what you're also going to be doing over here, you're going to want, I'll stick around with mana regen, all right, or damage taken from mana before life, Then we're going to go up here to the helmet. You're going to want the same type of thing, critical hit chance. You're going to want a +1 to maximum power charges, so that way we get additional power charge, because for the setup, all right, you can only get, I think, 6 power charges total, even with the passive tree, without having to like anoint anything. Okay, then you're going to want to do critical hit chance +1 to power charges. All right, well, this one has rarity on it too, which I got this pretty cheap. I'm telling you right now, with if you you cannot get plus spell skills anymore in the helmet. Okay, so it'll increase it even more. But if you want something with mana regen as well, on top of this with power charges, you're gonna be spending a lot of money, which I don't even know if you can get mana regen. But this is what I got. It's cheap. Power +1 to power charges on the helmet. You're gonna be surprised how cheap that is. Then over here we're gonna do our. Then we're gonna go over here. We're gonna do an amulet. So we're gonna want spirit. We're gonna be energy shield equipped to body armor. So basically we're going to want, what we're going to be wanting to do is go defense wise. Okay, then we're going to go mana regeneration. Everything is based off of mana regen. Okay, then we're going to do +3 to all level spell skills. Okay, then we're going to allocate it to climate change is what I did. I know there's others out there that you can climate change too, but I got this one because it came with it, and I don't have my delirium done yet, so I cannot use the weather tree at the moment. Alright, so gain 25% cold damage and extra damage against frozen enemies, and 20% increase freeze buildup, which is fine, because as you notice, we do a lot of freezing anyways. So, then we're going to go over here, we're going to get some more spirit from, this is where we're going to get our spirit mainly from, and we're going to get it mainly from our amulet, and we're going to get it from our scepter. Okay, so over here, it doesn't matter about minion skills or anything like that. We're just using this for spirit, mana, and if you can find one that's pretty cheap with mana regeneration as well, you don't need one with plus skills. Okay, I just had this in there. I just needed something. All right. Then we're going to go down to our boots. Our boots. Okay, our boots, we're going to want 35% increased movement speed, obviously. And then we're going to also do socketed. If you want to get a good pair of boots for you, you're going to want the socket boots. Okay, 6% increase in socketed. Then we're going to go over here. Then you're going to go to currency exchange. I think there is freaking mana regen sockets. I think there is. Mana regen. There we go. Well, it doesn't even matter. Mana regeneration rate. I think that's the only one, isn't it? Caster weapon, mana regen, wand, staff, armor. Well, I guess you can use this. Perfect, and slop them right in there. Okay, but you also want to want energy shield, because we are doing energy shield. Oh my gosh, it's expensive. But we are doing mana regen, so. And we're also doing energy shield, so the more energy shield we have, transfer over to our mana. Okay, if that makes any sense. So, because it's our defense. Then we're going to go over here. This is the only unique that you're going to be, well, the second unique. So this is your second unique you're going to use. These gloves are very important. It will not work without this. Okay, you're going to want this. Alright, your critical hit chance cannot be re-rolled. So you're constantly creating at 100%. So this is right here is what we're going to want. These are our must. And the pillar, well, I call it the pillar, but Antonio's ego is also what you're going to want. Then on our belt is very important. You want 16% chance for remnants you pick up to count as picking up an additional remnant. This is a good one to have. This belt can get expensive. Increased cast speed during any flash effect. And also 35% increased spell damage for during any flash effect. There's a reason why we got this with these specific modifiers. Because you go down here, the unique flask, this right here, that constantly regenerates mana. It's constantly in use. You cannot use it, right? Because it's constantly regenerating your mana. Alright? Constantly. The effect is constant. So if you go back to your belt, it says 35% increased spell damage during any flash effect. So we're constantly getting flash effect. As it tells right there, the flash cannot be used, but applies its effect constantly. So we're constantly getting this 37% spell damage and the 60% cast speed. Okay, that is very important. Then we're just going to go, you know, generic freaking life flask. Alright, so this is very tanky. Very tanky. Now, let's go to our passive skills. Our passive skills right here, we're going to go and collect remnants. It's a big remnant heavy build. Alright, so we're going to want these two right here, elemental fusions, and our remnants as well. So that way we can collect them farther away. And we're also going to be doing right here, 20% of damage is taken from mana before life, and 20% increase effective arcane surge per 10% missing mana. So the more mana we miss, the more DPS we're doing. So this right here is going to be our passive skills. We're going to go ahead and collect these 3 nodes right here as well to get them as one. These are going to increase our elemental damage for each type. Okay, then we're going to go down here. Now, if you notice the green right here, okay, these are for our power charges, so that's going to be a weapon set too. So, more power charges consumed. Alright, there's not that much of this right here that you need to allocate to this weapon set 2. So we got another power charges right here. So we can get 6. Okay, all together. Alright. And then we're going to go for weapon set 2. Obviously, we're going to do our DPS nodes like critical hit chance and stuff like that. More damage like this right here. Okay. This right here as well for more damage as well. So we're basically getting critical hit chance points. Alright, like I said, I'm at level 88 right now. So I'll probably, once I get some more damage, we'll ramp up the critical hit chance as well and go 100%. Okay, so with that being said, I will be doing updates on this build on Mobalytics as well, so make sure you guys go ahead and follow that. So, alright, our main node that we're going to be taking right here is going to be Eldritch Battery. Converts 100% maximum energy to maximum mana and mana cost effect. Alright, then we're going to get our Mind Over Matter. Okay. Mind Over Matter, all damage is taken from mana before life with 50% less mana recovery rate. So these two go hand in hand. Alright, now you can grab this. Alright, this Flesh Crucible Diamond. I think these things are pretty freaking cheap. I don't think a lot of people are using them. Yeah, they're like 17 div. Okay, or you can just move yourself over there and grab it yourself if you want. That's up to you. Alright, so the rest of our jewels we are using. Okay, we're going to be using 2 main nodes, man. Okay, and if you want, I guess 3 major ones. Okay, critical hit chance for spells, and increased maximum energy shield is what I would go for. And if you can find a good one, cheap on recovery, 3% of maximum mana on kill is also another good one to go for. Okay, so basically the main 2 mods that you want is critical hit chance and critical hit chance for spells. Those are the main ones you want. So that way, because we're trying to get that critical hit chance up to 100% as quick as we can, as much as we can, right? So with that being said, guys, that is it. You can also get mana regeneration on these if you want. That's up to you. But you're going to be paying a lot of freaking divvies. A lot of divvies when it gets up to that point, okay? So, with that being said, we'll go through that rotation for you to get our power charges. Alright, once again, I know I showed it a couple times already, so what we're going to do, you're going to drop Frost Bomb. Boom, boom, boom. Wait a couple seconds. La-di-da-di-da. Firestorm. Alright, as you can tell up here in the top right, we got 8 power charges. Alright, now I'm going to hit Spark and put it back in my weapon set 1 because my Pinnacle Power is on weapon set 1. Then I'm going to hit Pinnacle Power. As you can tell, it's 1 minute and 16 seconds. Sometimes you can get lucky, you get rolled for 2.5 minutes. Okay, a constant effect. But with that being said, guys, that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video right here. Okay, so make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, the bell icon down in the description below. Make sure you check out the Mobalytics. Make sure you hit that sub button, bell icon. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll keep repeating myself, I'm tired as hell. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you all later. Hashtag Peanut Game, baby, all day every day. Deuces.